Hi, everyone. This is Kate Sargent with Career Hacks and Snacks. I'm super excited today to chat with this giant ball of energy, Deb Haas, of the consulting company called the Unexamined Mind, which is all about HR, design thinking, mindset shifts, and ultimately about joy and really enjoying the work that you're doing. So, welcome to the show slash session slash whatever we're calling this, Deb. So nice to have you.
This is so exciting. I'm like being interviewed. I feel like a rock star or something. Like I need to sit back and be the casual, like, yeah, I
I
want
feel
to
like
have the
you're
chef
going to be very
vibe.
disappointed because it's really not that exciting. I'm not that good at this yet. I just started and we're still kind of finding our flow, but I'm
Um,
like super excited. You have just an energy level that feels like off the charts, so positive. You do such great things on LinkedIn and what is your gratitude road? What is it you're working on right
my
now?
humility road trip.
That's what it is, the humility road trip. Tell me a little bit about that actually before we jump in.
I mean, okay, so this one thing of like the whole starting a whole business, like if you would have told me a year ago I was starting a business, I would have said, you're effing insane. I was going to be corporate for the rest of my life. I had it all planned out, the whole thing. The whole thing about starting a business is that anything in your life that isn't working, it will slap you right in the face. Like everything that is an issue in your life, you will be confronted by it and you will have to figure out how to work around or whatever, or go through it essentially. And so I was going, I have this issue where I'm in the fractional people community, and it's both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you're around these incredible human beings that are just so authentic in themselves and humble with the stuff that they're creating, which is like world, world earthquakes. And then they're talking about stuff in HR that I've never touched. Like, we all have our own different,
I
and they're
feel that
talking.
way about compliance and benefits all day, every day. I'm like the knowledge that some people have and the depth that they have in there is thank God for them that I'm able to utilize them because I don't know that stuff. Yeah.
No clue, no clue. And so all the time going into that whole imposter identity, and I was like, you know what? I got to stop comparing myself. That's the comparison is the thief of joy, right? I mean, that's just the reality. And so I was seeing how much I was like, I would be in there and I'd be so excited, whatever. And then I'd start to like, you'd start doing the doom scrolling, and it's like, I don't know that, I don't know that, I don't know that. I could never do that. How could I possibly, And so I got into my boyfriend, ChatGPT. We're close.
Oh, yes, I also have a friend. What's your ChatGPT's name?
It's just ChatGPT right now, but I
No,
really
no,
should
no.
give
You
it a
have to
name.
ask it what its name is. Yeah, because it asked me to name it, and I was like, no, you tell me what name feels comfortable for you. And they said their name was Piper. Yeah, so you got to go find out what your ChatGPT's name is. They'll name themselves.
Well, hopefully I'll remember by the end
Yeah.
of the because my brain is like
Well, you
ping.
got
So
to do it after this because then I have to put it in I have to put it
I
in,
will I
I got
will
to put it in the
totally do that.
post. Yeah.
Okay, so to be named later, my chat GPT, and I was like, it feels like what I need to do is to get over this whole thing of comparison. Like I have to be better, like I have to be perfect, and so I'm like, you know what? I need to learn some humility. So I literally just said, okay, chat GPT, if I wanted to, cultivate an attitude of humility, how would I do that? And so it said, people who have great humility have these 10 things. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to start a practice. Give me an action for each day of the week for 10 weeks so I can cover a week for each one of them. And so it gave me
Yes.
the whole thing. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a video about this whole thing because, I feel like I need to start doing video. Video is the big thing on LinkedIn if I want to start, getting seen out there. And so it gave me the idea, and I was like, okay, you know what? I love Melissa McCarthy. I think the woman is
He's hilarious.
she's a comic genius, and she is one of those people who's just authentically herself all the time.
I hear she's
And
really
so
nice in person too. I know some people who've worked with her and
she
she's
just
supposedly very nice.
she's herself, which is who I am. And I so
That's
I
my
identify.
goal.
And so I was like, okay, give me a script for a video that has a Melissa McCarthy feel, and it gave it to me, and I was like, well, then I guess I'll make it. And so that's what I've been doing.
I
And
love
and
that we're all just like following the instructions of our AI overlords at this point. We're like,
it's
ChatGPT, run my life. Tell me
It's
what I should
totally
be
that.
doing.
I
How
mean,
should I run my life?
there's been a couple times where I was like, really, ChatGPT? Is that
Yeah.
really what you're telling me? I'm an idea person. I come up with ideas all the time, and I'm really, really good. You can see I'm like excited, really, really good at getting started and visualizing, and I can see the thing like step 6. I can visualize it. I can describe it to you. I can tell you what it smells like. I can tell you everything about it. Steps 1 through 5. Eh.
I relate to that. Have you done the Strength Finder? Have you ever done the Strength
Yes.
Finder?
Yeah.
What's your number one strength? Do you remember?
Input. Input.
Okay, so I am ideation is my number one. So like
Ideation
that
isn't
felt
even in my top
relatable.
10.
Oh wait,
Ideation is,
hold on. I'm in my phone now. I gotta find. I literally it's the first thing that came up because I just interviewed somebody who is a strength finder coach. Okay, wait. Ideation, strategic, input, individualization, and achiever.
yep.
Could not be any more true. All over on this side of the equation.
It's,
What you will not notice is organizer, accomplisher.
I
Like,
so
I
envy
mean,
those
yeah.
people. For the long, when I found out my strengths finder, I was like, when I found out what my top five were, I was so disappointed. And I had to talk to a strengths coach because she was like, what's up with the disappointment? I'm like, my number one skill is input. That is the most unsexy,
It is unsexy.
uninteresting. It's very
That's
unsexy.
correct.
And I was so envious of Woo, and Woo is like 35 on
How
my,
do
it's
I
like at the
not have Woo? Were you not sad that you? I was like, I've
I was
literally been a recruiter for like 15 years and I was pretty damn good at it. And there's no Woo anywhere in my background. Why are people listening to me?
you are Wooless. You have been de-wooed.
I'm Woo. I'm Wooless. I'm devoid of Woo. Yeah, no, but I mean, seriously, like, is it like, did the ideation and individualization cross over to become like a Woo substitute? I don't
See,
really know how it works. I'm gonna need to go into more therapy for that.
exactly. So my top five are input is number one,
Okay.
activator is number two, which means I turn ideas into action. Like I go immediately to action,
Okay,
which is
same.
great when you're working with people who like to sit and think and consider and whatever, because I'm already, bam, we're doing it. It's not good when you're supposed to send out an email or corporate communication and you're just a little too into your like Deb style and you send it out without, running it past your lead.
I get that. I get
Yeah.
that. Like I always tell people like when I get asked what's your greatest weakness in an interview question, like, I always tell people not to avoid that question because I think
Yep.
it's like a waste of time.
It is. Don't
Yeah,
avoid
but
it.
mine is always administrative work. Like
Yep.
anything administrative or attention, like super nitty-gritty attention to detail, spreadsheet, data
Yep.
management. Do not hire me for that.
Yep.
I will fail. Yeah.
I am all about action and I will take action, which is great, except when it's something that really needs to be, maybe we need to let it sit back there and let it gel a little bit. Let it think, kind of like, marinate a little bit. I'm not good for that. Okay, so it's input, activator, positivity.
I see that. Like
Yeah,
that could not like come off of you more clearly. Mhm.
exactly. It's kind of scary, actually.
Yeah.
And then it's connectedness, and the other one is adaptability. Actually, it's
Oh,
adaptability and connectedness.
that's interesting. Those are unusual. I haven't heard those in a lot of
Adaptability
people
means that
actually. But I
I
think people
actually,
lie about their strength finders
yeah,
too. I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie. I think people are like, oh yeah, achiever is in my top five.
No,
And they just want to like sound cool. And it's
no,
like, oh, okay, like
no.
nothing about you makes me think that that is true,
I
but
leaned
like, way
into
to
it.
go.
I leaned into it and I was like, if you ask me what does adaptability do for me, I'm like, adaptability means that I love change. I seek it out. I'm aware that there are going to be things that happen that you have no control over, and I plan for those because I can adapt to whatever is coming my way. I have no problems with that. Connectedness is
Yes.
literally I seek the connections everywhere. In fact, I see connections sometimes that people are like, I don't, and then I'm like, but if you do this, this, oh, okay. I guess that is a connection. I'm like,
I
that's
feel like we're similar people in that. Like, 'cause that's like my whole job is like making connections between people's work. But one of the things you said was adaptability is one of your strengths. I want to go into this. So I want to talk
cool.
about one of the big things in your career is that you spent a long period of time somewhere and then have now embarked on this, new kind of journey sort of later in your career. No offense.
Later
But
in
like
my
later, I mean,
career.
maybe not later, you got 700 years left. Tell me a little bit about what that transition looked like and how like, the positivity, adaptability, humility, all of these things that you're working on right now have sort of contributed to that.
So I worked at Accenture for 24 years,
That
and
is a long time.
that is a long ass freaking time.
Yeah,
I'm
that is
best
my
not to
entire
cuss too much.
adulthood.
Yes.
So yes. Hmm.
And when you work in a company that has literally 700,000 employees, it's the size of a small country. I mean, it's just, and it just the structure is so huge and so multi-tiered and whatever. And that's how your whole world is. Your whole world is that. And so when you think about your career and where you're going to go in the future, you do it within the structure of that company. And so I was in a talent supply chain, which is just literally pipeline. And I'd been there forever, and that's what I'd been doing, even though it wasn't what I loved doing. This is what I've learned about corporate. You get paid for the skills that they find valuable. And the skills that you have that you love using probably aren't going to get used unless you put up a
I
stink.
mean, I could not relate to that anymore personally. Yes. And then it was never my best strengths or the things I
Yep.
wanted to be doing. Yeah.
Yep. That's just kind of the way it works. And so you become an expert in something you don't necessarily want to be an expert in. I wanted to be in learning and leadership development. I was always looking for ways
Okay.
to
I
it.
see that. Yeah.
Just like any big political, organization, and I'm going to be very careful about saying anything negative about my previous employer. But there's a certain appearance and a certain way things look, and I just didn't fit that. So I always kind of felt like a little bit, but you know what? I had my team. I had the people I worked with were just amazing human beings.
That's awesome.
Anyways, so I was in a talent supply chain, global talent supply chain, 50 people from all over the world. And it was the best experience for 8 years. I got to experience what it was like in different cultures and working with different people. And I loved it, loved every minute of it, loved my team, loved my boss. And then they let go of 5 of our senior people. Just bye. January of 2023. Oh, and I remember my lead coming to me. She was in tears, and she's like, they just let go of so and so, and they're not even they're giving them the base severance, and they're not even. And I was like, oh, this is not the company I thought I worked for. And then I turned to my boss and I said, you know what? This is the start. We're going to be facing layoffs now, and this is just. And I knew it's like I called it.
It's like it's usually like a slippery slope, right? Like if things aren't getting better.
I called it into being. Q2 earnings call. Julie Sweet's like, yeah, and there's going to be this amount for severance. And I was like, what? Oh. And then immediately there's this, thing on the calendar, like Ellen Shook is like, oh, I gotta,
it's that dreaded HR person on your calendar on a Friday morning or afternoon when
you got to do a global town hall of all 10,000 HR people.
Yeah.
And so then they're like, our transformation is being accelerated. Oh. And then it was silence for months. And so all of us are like, huh? So I went into Fishbowl and there was an Accenture Fishbowl already, and I created an Accenture Corporate Functions Fishbowl, and I advertised it in the regular bowl. And within a week, I had 1,000 people in there because all of us were in the same place. Mm-hmm. And you didn't know who you could talk to because they weren't announcing it. And it was so
you were like sitting in a holding pattern, basically.
Sitting in a holding pattern, and we're supposed to be as productive as always. Business as usual as always. And I'm like, you know what?
But everybody's really just like looking for a new job on their computer whenever
everyone is like freaking out. They don't know what the future. We're supposed to be planning for the next fiscal year, yet will I be here? I don't know.
Well, it's hard to be engaged at that point too, right? As much as people like criticize these last minute corporate layoffs that you had no idea were coming, it's not really that great on the other side of that.
There's not a better way to
do. Yeah.
There's very few better ways to do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say dropping a bomb and then being silent forever is probably not a good one either. So then that
like on the scale of worst things you can do in a layoff, that was like closer to like the top. Yeah, got it.
So then that turned into a private group on LinkedIn, which is Accent on Our Future, which has now over 1,000 people in it.
This is your activator, right? Like this is
my activator
going into mode.
This is my connectedness. I'm all about community. I'm all about being with people. It comes naturally to me. When you try to be productive and get stuff done, and underneath there's all this upset and uncertainty and whatever, that's putting frosting on a shit cake. Delightful. So people need to be able to say what's there for them. Even if it doesn't look pretty, even if it's critical or whatever, they need to have
a safe space. You need a safe space. Be honest. It's not how you feel all the time, but you need an outlet somewhere.
You got to get it out of your head. You got to get it out of your body. The reason why so many of us are sick or whatever is because we're keeping all of this crap plugged down, and it's like you have constipation for a long time, it's going to get bad.
It's funny. I was talking about this the other day because I was talking about anger with a friend of mine, and they were like, what kind of anger is yours? Mine is immediate. I'm a get the poison out and be done person. I'm not a hold it down. And I think LinkedIn is actually a really good outlet for that sometimes too, to be able to like channel it into positive things to help someone else versus channel it down into me to make it worse for myself. So I mean, I think that it's a really good point that you like decided to find a space. So did people vent their spleens there?
Oh, hell yeah. We started a weekly call that's still going.
Okay.
I still meet every Thursday at 2:00. I meet with my AOO because it's Accent on Our Future, AOO group. And
trademark, because no one will ever want that, but okay. Yeah.
And it varies, at the beginning there was a good 70, 80 people, and now there's a good 15 to 20 of us that meet pretty regularly, and just talk and just share what our experience of job searching has been like. And there's still some people that are still at Accenture and they're sharing, they found other roles and they're sharing what's going on with them. And we're able to tell them what's going on so that there's less uncertainty. Because I'll tell you, as a 55-year-old woman who had been at a company for 24 years and where my age had never been an issue and where I myself don't act I mean, let's be honest.
No, you
I'm a
have more
college
energy than like a 22-year-old right now.
I
Let's
act like a freaking
struggle.
college
I
student.
always have more energy than everyone, and I'm struggling to keep up here. Yes. My
And
manic
so,
energy is wildly, like tame comparatively speaking right now.
and suddenly, because I'm 55, my life is over and I should be, well, financially, that's not going to happen because I love life and I love traveling and I love all those things.
And those things take money.
They take money.
They
And if you're
do.
doing them right, they take a lot of money.
That's fair. That's fair. Yep.
So
That's
it
a
was
really
like,
good point. Yes.
and suddenly I was in LinkedIn world. And so I logged into to LinkedIn in April of 2023 and I started searching. And I wasn't very hardcore. Then there came a
Were
period
you,
of,
can I cut in? Like, were you good
yes,
at LinkedIn at that point? Like, was LinkedIn something that you were very comfortable with or
no, I had
utilized well?
signed,
Because I
I
think
had
like,
created an account in 2009.
okay.
Every so often I would go in there and update like once a year or two or whatever. And I hadn't really been in LinkedIn that much. And so it was literally, I'm being let loose on LinkedIn and let's see what this social media platform's about.
And
Um,
LinkedIn cringed and was like,
uh,
oh God, Deb's coming.
yeah.
Mhm.
Hide the children.
Oh God, we're not prepared for this. This is not
You're not
TikTok.
going to be ready for this. So, what was going on this whole time, by the way, was that I was headed towards burnout and I was ignoring the signs, completely and utterly ignoring the signs. Since the pandemic, I'd been getting 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. I was taking a sleeping pill so that I could even get those 2 to 3 hours a night. I was increasingly disliking my job, like just having a really hard time to motivate myself and get moving. My performance, which had never been a problem, I've never had an issue with performance. Suddenly, my performance, like I was missing meetings and all this, and I was like, "What the hell?" And then my dad passed away,
Oh,
and I had two brothers who hated each other, and I
that's a
had to
wake
be the
up.
one in between them to plan everything and to go. And I was just trucking along, just do get it done, get it done. I went and got my hair done and false eyelashes for my dad's funeral, and
The tactical.
when
Yep.
this is over, I'll grieve. It's all good. I will grieve. And then one day, I was looking at my prescription of sleeping pills that my husband had just picked up, and I thought to myself, what would happen if I took these 30 pills? And so then I thought about it.
Moment.
And then I was like, well, I need to make sure that my husband's going to get my life insurance if I commit suicide because I've seen on TV shows that if you
No.
commit, you don't like. So this is literally where I'm going. So the
Oh
next morning,
man, this is a direction.
this is, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so then the next morning, he gives me a kiss. He goes off to work, and I'm laying there in bed and I'm like doing some more searches about this. And I'm like, I've heard that if you're very serious about suicide, you don't tell anyone. Like the people who are really serious, they just do it.
Right.
And so then I was at this point where I was like, okay, so what do I need to do? And then something, whether it's God or my brain or what, went, hello, Deb. It's a little scary that you're not feeling anything right now, that you have no emotions about this.
Well, I
That
mean, thank goodness that you had like the epiphany to realize that though too,
uh-huh.
pull yourself outside of it.
Yep. And I talked to my Better Up coach. I went to my boss and I was like, hey, I need to take a leave of absence. And she was like, I was hoping you would say something because I could see that you were really struggling. And of course,
Mhm.
they can't tell you, they can't say anything to you. They can't
Right.
suggest it. So I went into partial hospitalization for 10 days. And it's been a long road until all this whole thing with this, getting laid off and everything. All of my colleagues were notified of their layoff at the end of July of 2023 when their last day would be. I was notified the day I returned from leave of absence on September 1, 2023. But I knew I was heading into it.
Yeah.
And so it's
And
just
that's a
been this
big hit
whole,
though, coming off
yeah,
of like, the mental health situation.
I will not, I will tell
Directly,
you,
because
it was
layoffs are
not
hard
pretty.
anyway.
It was not pretty, but there's some things that have come out of it. And I'm in this place right now that is the best place I've ever been in my life. And I'm so thankful that I got laid off because the world to me is a completely different place than it was a year ago. There are so many opportunities. There's so many incredible human beings out there that I would have never interacted with because I was stuck in my little corporate niche of this is my world and this I live and I do these things within this world because it's safe. And I was in my comfort zone. And the truth is that growth only happens when you're uncomfortable.
I
And
mean, but it
so
was literally killing you.
yeah, it was literally killing me. It was.
I
It was
mean,
literally.
like there's, staying in a job because financially you need to. There's staying in a job because you really love the people, but like at some point, we just get so numb in these jobs.
Yeah.
I've seen it all the time in coaching, people that have been long places, long
And
time.
I needed that partial hospitalization because 55 years old, my parents were the silent generation. My mom, now I know she was bipolar. At the time, as a child, I had no clue. And so mental health was not something you talked about. It was, you didn't talk about that. That was whispered about. So seeking it, like there was a sense of shame. They never told me it was shameful, but that as a child watching that was how I processed it. So I wasn't going for help. I remember looking at these, like, I'm so admiring of Gen Z and the millennials and everyone who are like, you know what? You guys need to take care of your mental health. What you're doing, you're causing this thing. And we're all just like, no, we just got to keep going, we can
Yeah.
do it.
We'll
Muscle
make it
through it.
until all of our hair falls out and then drop dead one day. Like
Until I
literally,
die
like,
from a
there's lot
cancer
of
that I've been
There's a lot
ignoring
of
because,
that.
yeah,
I'll
no.
be
So,
curious to see what happens when X hits that, they're getting there, right? They're getting towards retirement at this point. Like Xers are getting real
Xers.
close to the retirement age, and I'll be
I'm an
curious.
Xer, girlfriend. I'm an Xer. I'm a very
Yeah.
proud Xer.
Are you an X? Wait, is that right?
I'm an Xer.
Oh, okay. I don't even
19
honestly know where X starts.
I
So
was born in the summer of 69.
oh, okay. All right. I was born in 1980. And so I am the weirdest and like almost 1981.
You're in a very interesting.
I'm a true cusper, right? Because I didn't have a cell
are.
phone until after I was out of high school.
Yep.
Right. But like we didn't get computers until we were 13. I
Yep.
grew up with an analog childhood. But anyway, I don't want to gloss over this mental health situation though, because I did not know we were headed in that direction. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, like, that is such a big trigger for people.
Three things I got from partial hospitalization that I wouldn't have gotten. In the triumvirate of thoughts, feelings, actions, I was stuck terminally in thoughts, actions, not allowing myself to feel anything.
Whoa, love this. Tell me more about that. Like that, because that's the Gen X motto is thoughts, and action, bypass feelings.
Don't let yourself feel them or ignore that you have feelings. Or if it's a bad feeling, you don't want to feel, like I didn't want to feel any bad feelings.
Or the bad.
And then I also realized that feelings are feelings because you feel them in your body.
Yeah, they're not just in your head.
That was like, my brain went, I was like, I feel them in my body.
It's funny because everyone's talking about these, like, this microdosing too for mushrooms, and I've been hearing like some really good things about feeling their feelings in their body in like a very real way. In that space, I think it's just a heightened. It's happening to us all the time.
Yeah,
we don't realize that it is. And I'm no therapist, just to be clear here. Like I do not have any.
Me neither. I have no
giving any sort of advice. Just like because I'm an HR.
I have freshman
psych. HR disclaimer. I need
freshman psych.
We are not psychologists. We have no idea what we're talking about. We are purely talking. We are not talking about thoughts or actions. We are talking about feelings right now.
And the third thing I got was mindfulness. And I will tell you right now that mindfulness saved my life. It's just that
mindfulness.
I totally did. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I need to learn how to do that. Meditation. I'm like, I need to learn how to do meditation. I tried to do it. It was like, I can't do it.
Racing brain people. I mean, I'm a high functioning anxiety person, and high functioning anxiety does not let you do meditation well. I was half asleep. Yeah.
I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Every day I had to go in. Hi, I'm Deb. I'm here for depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. And then we would do a mindfulness practice every single day. And they would read this thing and it would be 6 minutes, right? Just quietly breathing in and out for 6 minutes. The first day it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, it was torture. By the last day, I realized that I was trying to control the breathing. So the way I helped myself was that I counted. I would close my eyes. I would be like, 1 in, 1 out, 2 in, 2 out. And I'd go all the way up to 10 and then back again. And by the very last session, 6 minutes was like that. I'd only gone up and down like 3 times. What I realized was that I was trying to control. This isn't a parallel connected to the rest of my life, me trying to control everything. I was trying to control my breathing. And when I finally let go and just noticed my breathing and counted quietly in my head, it was I'm getting chills just telling you about the experience. Like,
I love this. This is so, I mean, I have not mastered this. Like in yoga, I used to do this fun curvy yoga class. And, that was the hardest part for me was the calm.
The counting did it for to me.
And I felt like I was failing. I feel like
Oh,
to me,
totally.
yoga always felt like something I was
I don't
failing.
fail.
Yeah, and I found this incredible teacher that was all about accessibility and doing it in your own way, and she's
Yep.
amazing. Shout out to Susan, love you. You're amazing. But I think like you have to find your thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
and to your point, it's a practice. Like you have to practice, you have to
practice.
get better at it, and you have to get.
And that's another thing I've never been good at. If I was not good at it immediately, I would not
You don't
try
want to
it.
do it anymore. I mean,
I would not want to do it.
are we
I
the
was,
same person? We're basically the same person. I'm so glad that this journey took you into a place where now
thank
you're
you.
living what seems to be a very, outwardly, hopefully, like very positive space,
Oh,
mindful
honey.
space. Like you are giving to people of your energy. And I think it's like truly, truly incredible. And I love being around it. I love how excited you get about things because I feel like people don't allow themselves to get excited because it's not cool. I don't live in that world. I'm always excited about things, overly excited, annoyingly excited. Call it
It's
what you
not
want.
because it's not cool. It's because of fear.
I
I
think
realize
people are
how
afraid to
much
be judged, and I'm
fear
afraid to be judged just like the second
all
like
are.
every other person. I'm sitting here checking out myself in the
But
camera half the time, looking and making sure I look okay, and we're all just ridiculous people. But I
I'm
will
not
have
willing to let fear rule my life anymore.
so, and I'm curious if you have any attachment to like mental health snacks, being able to snack. Tell me, how do you fuel your career?
Snacking is my life. Like seriously,
Yeah, I feel like everyone says that, by the way. We all love snacks, or at least the people that signed up for this are all like
snacking,
rabid
my
snackers.
relationship to food is just so long that I can't even, let's just put it this way. I identify as an adult picky eater. Now,
Okay.
I am not as far on the scale as some folks are, but I'm not as like easygoing as other folks are. Like I can't stand ketchup or mustard. I hate both of them.
Ketchup is like my food. I have like
I
a
can't,
whole food group in ketchup, and I get
you know,
judged so
oh,
desperately. Like I mean, or not desperate. I get judged so poorly for like my love of ketchup.
I
I
like
work
A1.
places
I will
for
eat
it that are
A1.
it's not for.
I
Yeah.
will eat A1, but ketchup, I have
Well, and
flashbacks to
A1
the
tastes like an
college,
armpit.
the
Like it
college
literally smells
cafeteria
and tastes like a
and
gross
dumping those
yo.
big things of ketchup into these
Oh.
big things and the smell of it, it was like,
That's how I feel
oh,
about mayonnaise for real. Anyway,
oh,
I digress. But tell me, like, to give me the good snacks first. What are the snacks that are like on your list of like I need to like have a long working session and I know I need to stock up with these snacks?
chocolate.
Okay, what kind?
Oh God, honey, any
Get
of it.
specific. No,
I'm more of a dark chocolate fan, I will admit.
same.
And it
Milk
used to have
chocolate,
it has to have a nut in it. I need some nuts. I
crunch.
need a
We
nut.
need some
I
texture.
need some crunch and some texture. I
Okay.
love minty chocolate.
Mhm.
Big fan of minty chocolate. My husband loves orange chocolate. I will eat the orange
Oh,
chocolate.
tell your husband to take a hike for real.
Fruity. I cannot eat like fruit in like I don't eat pie. The only pie I eat is a cream pie. I will not eat heated up fruit. What? The
Oh my
heated up
God,
fruit?
I want my fruit heated up in a pie.
No, no.
Good. You are
No heated
incorrect. I'm
fruit.
just gonna have to like call bullshit on this one. Like that's anyway, moving for objectively wrong. Next, tell me what else.
I used to be all about sweet. As I've gotten older, I've headed into the crunchy, salty. I used to love to dip my McDonald's fries into their soft serve ice cream. I've
Oh my God,
stopped
French
doing that.
fries and ice cream is like its own delight, but it needs its own category for dessert.
Chocolate,
That's like the I am emotionally unstable,
yes.
like, and I really need something right
I
now
need comfort
because I
food. I
just
need
got out of
comfort
my
food.
SATs and I'm pretty
Oh yeah.
sure I failed type
Um,
of snack.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I was sick and recovering, I ate a lot of SpaghettiOs.
Oh,
I ate a lot of Totino's pizzas.
those taste like ketchup.
They,
Both of those
well,
things
not
taste
any
like,
ketchup
how do
I
you
knew.
have like
I
ketchup?
don't know. La, 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 la,
Okay, all right, all right.
la.
Again, objectively wrong, but we're moving on. So what else do you like?
Do you want to see it?
I do, of course, like show me your snacks. I don't think I've ever had those. Chicken in a
Chicken in a
biscuit.
biscuit is heaven in
Never.
a cracker. It is heaven in a cracker.
Aren't they
You
like
put
saltines?
no, no, and
Is
you
there
need to
like
put
actual chicken in them?
the chicken. The salt is like a chicken flavor, and
That's so
and
confusing.
you put easy cheese on it, and it is like
I've never had easy cheese
I
either.
addicted a woman
So
in Belgium to every time I went to visit, I would have to mail her chicken in a biscuit and cans of easy cheese because I addicted her to it when I lived with them.
we
My
Americans are known for our healthy snacks like easy cheese and putting chicken in bread.
and I introduced them
What's
to
a hobnob? Can you mail me
hobnobs.
those? What are those? I want those.
My junior year of college was at Oxford University. Had a junior year abroad. My first day, I went to a tuck shop, which is that corner shop that is like the size of like a bathroom, but it has all
Is
this.
that like where they have like sundries?
Yes, sundries.
Okay.
And like they'll have the page two, like they'll have their Daily Mail, whatever, and there'll be a nude girl on it. And I was like, wow, that's not something I'd ever see in the US. And I found these hobnobs and I was like, well, they're chocolate.
Everything you have said has taken me off guard in this entire conversation. I'm not even gonna lie. The nude girls, that took me in a whole new direction. Okay, so tell me about hobnobs quickly.
It's an Odie biscuit, and these are the dark chocolate ones, which are so hard to come by.
But they're not waxy because I hate waxy.
Oh no, girl! Oh, I'm getting chills just trying to describe to you how wonderful they are. You will find them in nicer grocery stores, like expensive grocery stores that have imported foods. There's a milk chocolate one, McVitie's. It's called McVitie's Hobnobs.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
It will totally
life.
Change the world of oatmeal for you. Oatmeal is an ingredient.
You've got me on a different turn here. Okay, all right. All right. Well, I'm gonna try hobnobs because I'm really excited now because I don't know of them. I've never heard of them.
And you need to try chicken and a biscuit. And if you don't like them, your girls will eat them.
I think I don't want to try that, but I might. You know, like I'm kind of a Ritz person when it comes to crackers. So
I love Ritz. They're buttery like Ritz. Okay, what were your snacks? You didn't tell me what your
my snacks. Oh, I mean, I don't have snacks with me today. I didn't bring them with me. I'm just like eating them in general.
You know what
my snack of the day is right now? Yeah, my snack right now is pistachios ground up like in a grinder for like to make pistachio butter mixed with a tiny drop of caramel and then a melted Hershey's Kiss or like a melted piece of chocolate in it. Pistachio butter. Like you can't find like pistachio butter chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't want almonds, screw your peanuts. I'll eat them. Give me some pistachio with chocolate just in a bowl. And
a little bit of caramel.
A dash of homemade caramel or a melted caramel. It doesn't really matter. And just scoop it into your mouth, straight into your mouth. Okay. And that's it. That's a wrap for our snacks. Deb, it's been so amazing chatting with you. Please tell us where we can connect with you and enjoy some of your light and energy and madness.
LinkedIn.
And also tell us where we find your company and how we connect with you.
My company hasn't launched yet. I have the LLC. If you go to my profile, Deb Haas, and it's HAAS as in Sierra. And you look on the little link that people include on, I'm so technical. It'll take you to the placeholder for where my website will be March 1st.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm super excited. And people can find you on LinkedIn. Like,
reach out. I take everyone unless they're obviously a scammer. I take them all. I'm an equal opportunity,
You're like, I have a low bar. I love it. Okay, well, thank you for joining me today. This has been so delightful. Really like heartwarming kind of too. Thank you for sharing some of your struggles and some of the things you've gone through. Being real is part of
the only way people my age are going to get past our hangups from our parents is if we share them and we make it not bad.
I think it's important to share the things that you're failing at more than it is the things that you're succeeding at. But although LinkedIn seems to be more about the things that you're succeeding at these days, and I'm trying to get better about that. Anyway, that's my own therapy. So so nice to chat with you. Thank you everybody for joining us here on Career Hacks and Snacks. It's such a fun, we don't know what it is yet. Is it a podcast? Is it video chats? Is it whatever?
Great conversation. And you know what? You don't have to define it yet, Kate. Just let it
have a label, Deb.
Just
not
let
ready yet. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Take care, lady.